You want to avoid the legal process at any cost if you can. I mean, it's because there's no one wins out of that. That's
No.
the still, once you
Yeah.
start going down legal avenues, even if you've done nothing wrong or they've done nothing wrong, whatever the case may be, you've got legal, you've got to pay solicitors and barristers, and then you've got legal fees, and you've got court costs, and you've got all this stuff and the courts are of the belief that, it's got to be a win-win. So they're going to award something both ways. Usually they sort of go down the middle. So it ends up just costing both parties a lot more money. So
Mm.
it's really, if you can get it all sorted out, make sure everything's right and before, or try and go back and sort out any issues, you don't have those problems down the track.
Thinking about building or renovating? Or maybe you are already knee-deep in a project now. Are you feeling unsure of which steps to take and if you are making the right calls? You're not alone. Welcome to Builders Beyond Borders, the podcast where experienced Aussie builders share real stories, insider tips, and practical advice so you can build with confidence, avoid costly mistakes, and actually enjoy the journey. Let's dive in.
G'day guys, welcome to another episode of Builders Beyond Borders. Joining me today, we've got Paul from Independent Building Solutions up in Canberra, Shannon from DJH Builders down in Perth, and we won't say WA, we'll bring that back to Perth, which is just outside of Launceston in Tassie, isn't it?
That's correct.
It's a good spot, love it. And of course, myself, Hugh, New Realm Homes down in Melbourne. Today, got you guys joining us for fun little topics of completion of projects and some contractual stuff that needs to be done once you complete a project, and defects, liabilities, warranties, and all that sort of thing. All the statutory stuff that comes into a project when you complete it. Really, how complicated that can actually be, or how uncomplicated it can be, depending on who you sort of working with to complete the work, and of course the extent of the works, because there's different things, different requirements for the different style of work that actually comes into it. So I'm going to sort of jump in straight away, and I guess you could say on the back of that aspect of the different types of jobs that we see. And Shannon, you can attest to this, the difference between what's required and the statutory warranties and all that sort of thing, from doing projects where there's, say, no wet areas or no bathrooms, kitchens, and laundries, to just having just having a wet area bathroom renovation, or there's no wet areas, and you've got, say, just an extension on a living area, or putting in like an alfresco area or something out the back of a house. How many different things come into it, and what should you be sort of looking at as an owner and a client when you're completing a project?
Well, I think it is so vast, and it can vary from state to state as well, the requirements, but it's important to be across, I guess, your rights and the defect, or talking about defects to start with. A builder, as a legal requirement, needs to provide you with a residential consumer guide once you've signed a contract, and that is across the country, isn't it, guys? That's
Yep,
Yep,
sure
must
is.
be. It's a mandatory item that we must provide to our clients and when they're signing the building contract. So it spells out who to contact if you have any issues. I think the problem is it can be hard from state to state to get, we've seen in the past problems with getting someone to help you at a government level when you do contact them if you've got an issue. Even for myself, I contacted on behalf of clients who'd come to us saying, especially for bathrooms, we have a bathroom that was done 3 years ago. I was in the garage the other day, two-story property. My wife was in the shower upstairs and water started pouring out of the downlight in the garage. And I thought, oh dear, we need someone to redo the bathroom. So I feel like it's our duty of care to say, to provide advice, not just go in saying, yeah, we'll get you a quote, no worries, we'll do that bathroom. So spelling out that there is a requirement for a builder to rectify works for a duration of a period. So 10 years, a builder would be required to come back and rectify, only if there's a building contract in place though. So it's like there's so many different variables, and it's the CBOS have helplines. They have but it took me ages to find the actual email address to send these sorts of things through to. So it's reportable. Even if you don't have any luck with the builder themselves, if you're contacting them, obviously they're going to, well, yeah, good builders will be like, oh my goodness, let me come and, sort it out. Sometimes there will be obviously friction where they're saying, it's been 3 years, I'm not interested, see you later. So you need to know the protections in place, the people that you can contact to start the ball rolling, to get these things, to find some help, because it's a very expensive situation. That's just a bathroom. Like, it could be much bigger than that. So there was one instance we had where a person had a bathroom done. I think theirs was 4 years prior. No, yeah, it was 4 years, because what happened was a commercial construction company, a large commercial construction company locally, thought they might take on bathroom renovations during COVID because they had delays on materials and there was no work for their guys. So they thought, oh, I'll start doing bathrooms. And it was done incorrectly. It wasn't waterproofed properly. So 4 years later, they came to us asking us to quote and to do the work. So we instructed them, if we touch this bathroom, it could cause a lot of issues. And they said, we don't care. We just want it done again. We'll find a way to take this builder and get our money back. So we had some legal documents drawn up, and they said, we just want you to take photos as you go, so that we have the evidence. And it resulted in them having, actually, they'd had to go through the small claims court because they had it, we'd come in and amended it, like we'd come in and done work. So we'd explained it to them that you need to get it sorted beforehand, but no, it was causing further damage, the water damage. They'd stopped using it. It was a bit of a mess, but it ended up being a lot more messy legally for them, with us coming in and rectifying the issues. So, yeah, it's important to know who you've got on your side. It's important to know your defect periods, the liability, and that's, our experience. It can be hard to find, but if you can find someone, your local authority, and you can find it all in that residential consumer guide that you're given when you sign a building contract. If there's no contract signed, then the builder that's done the work doesn't have the right to rectify it, and that's just a whole other set of issues.
Well, they basically skirt on liability and all that sort of thing
Yeah.
by effectively doing that, and that's probably one of the risks with things early on, is that aspect of whether people know that if it's uncontracted work, they basically leave themselves wide open. It's their responsibility for anything afterwards, and the person doing the work basically gets away scot-free and no responsibility for doing anything afterwards if there is a problem.
There's no legal obligation at all.
Yep.
And these are people who are carpenters who are running building companies.
Oh.
They're not even registered. They don't have a registration. Like some people,
that can be a tricky one because you don't have to have a license to do a bathroom. You don't have to take out a building permit, do you? So that's I think people need to make sure they check out who they're.
Yeah, but a contract is required on works over, is it $5,000?
Depending on your state, I think there's different regulations.
Yeah.
So like for Victoria, I think it's anything over 10,000 is a contract's required, and then anything over 16,000 got to have home warranty insurance and that sort of thing. And most bathrooms these days hit that straight away.
Yeah. But a lot of those guys probably come in, no, it's okay, I can do it for you. We don't need a contract, we don't need this, we don't need that, we can do this, we'll just get it done, here's your quote, sort of thing. And people will believe them if they're convinced enough, because normal homeowners don't understand the process and they don't expect them to. That's why they should be using reputable people. So, but it can get caught out, can't you? That's right.
Mm.
But you're supposed to give them the option too, I think, aren't you? Because I think if it goes to court and they say, oh, I was never told about it, I wasn't given the option to fix it, so I'm not responsible. So that's where you've got to, like you said, have legal documents drawn up, Shannon, just to cover yourself there in case that happened.
And if it's confusing for us, just for the consumer, it is just a minefield of confusion. It's just like, if you just look for someone who's got a registration number, that's probably a really good start. Building practitioner license number. Although there are people out there who will use other people's numbers, because who checks it?
Well, the license lending, even though that as all the industry bodies and that sort of thing are trying to say, "Oh, no, we're stamping out license lending," and all that sort of thing, it's still rife. It's still happening everywhere. And
Yeah.
like, I'm all for people checking up on registrations and all that sort of thing. I encourage all of our clients, potential clients, leads, all that sort of thing, go and check out our registration. Make sure that we're okay.
Mm.
You want security and that sort of thing. You want to make sure that when it comes to it for home warranty insurance, the home warranty insurance certificate, and this is a big one, the information on that matches our company registration.
Mm.
And
Huge.
if it doesn't match, you know you got a problem. If it's got a different different ACN, if it's got a different name listed on there and all that sort of thing compared to what we supply you, wow, something
Mm.
dodgy's happening in there, guys. And
Yeah.
that's alarm bells start ringing.
Yeah.
I
It's,
think that's another responsibility of ours too, then to make sure we explain this to the clients because, they're never going to understand that. They're certainly not going to know anything about it. So if it's not explained to them by a builder,
Mm.
they're not going to know what to look for. So it's well, here's all our stuff, our registration numbers. It's all. Make sure you check all your other quotes to make sure the guys you're using have got all this stuff. So
Mm.
otherwise, they're not going to do it. They wouldn't even know about it.
Yeah.
no.
And that how good's that valuable conversation when you're sitting down right at the beginning of the job, when you're quoting it, or whenever, but you're
Mm.
sitting down with the client and you're going through every single bit of information. And like, I don't know for you guys, but I've got my little checklist of things that I'm going through, little explainer sheets and that sort of thing for clients that go through all this stuff. Things you should be aware of, things that you should know about, things that you should be checking and
Mm.
checking against us. That should be there and people should be doing it. But yeah, I guess it's due diligence on everybody out there going and sort of having that information or being armed with that information
Mm.
to know what's going on as well, because everybody goes into the biggest, generally the largest expense and largest purchase that they ever make, essentially blind at the beginning.
Yeah. Not knowing what questions to even ask,
Mm.
not just oblivious to the risk out there. Yeah.
And you want to avoid the legal process at any cost if you can. I mean, it's because there's no one wins out of that. That's
No.
still, once you
Yeah.
start going down legal avenues, even if you've done nothing wrong or they've done nothing wrong, whatever the case may be, you've got legal, you've got to pay solicitors and barristers, and then you've got legal fees and you've got court costs and you've got all this stuff and the courts are of the belief that, it's got to be a win-win. So they're going to award something both ways. Usually they sort of go down the middle. So it ends up just costing both parties a lot more money. So
Mm.
it's really, if you can get it all sorted out, make sure everything's right and before or try and go back and sort out any issues, you don't have those problems down the track.
Definitely. No, well, when it comes to it, I mean, you get to the end of the project, if you've had a good experience, then all the warranty stuff and all that sort of thing, is probably one of the easier sides of it because generally it's all been explained to you. You've done your walkthrough, checking for defects, which is really it's one of those real pivotal things. And I don't know if these sorts of documents are available around the rest of Australia. Well, I know in New South Wales they've got a guide to standards and tolerances and all that sort of
Mm.
thing. I know that I've provided that to clients in the past for their own self bit of information when they're completing a project. Okay, well these are the standards that we sort of see, and the minimum standards that you guys should be seeing, and how to visually inspect things and that sort of thing, to make their life easier. Now, it's not always that they'll read through that guide to standards and tolerances, but it's there to assist if they see something and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if that's right." Then it gives them the opportunity to reference something, and then we can have that conversation. And with a good experience, you're able to have that conversation, and it's not a conflict. It's not needing mediation. We're not looking at the legal avenues or anything like that because you're just following the process. We've got to go through. We've got to do the defects,
Mhm.
and it all gets documented. Then you know that the builder's going to either fix it or they're not because it's not classified as a complete defect or anything like that. But still have the opportunity to go in and actually repair that, and then from there, then you can move on to onto anything that might be a warranty problem and have all the statutory warranties and that sort of thing explained to you, and possibly even have some certificates that actually spell out and give the information for the bodies that can assist you if things don't go well with the builder afterwards as well. I think that there are all some pretty pivotal things that we need to sort of look at, and every owner should be looking at that as well.
And even to the point of warranty, like warranty on fixtures and fittings, and considering like when people are trying to save money by getting their own things, and sometimes it's like I have a call booked. I've got a big extension to do, and I've bought everything that I want to put in that place and into the extension, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's avoiding the warranty that we provide if we're installing a product that we haven't purchased. That's a good point to make sure anytime you can that you're receiving products from the builder that's installing them, because then if you've got an issue, you're going straight back to the people you know. You're not trying to find a manufacturer based in China for something you bought off eBay, which was terrible issues and stuff like that before.
They're
Like,
classics, those ones.
oh, yeah. So, yeah, just thinking about those sorts of things, but it's just finding a good builder that can help guide you through, and help educate around these sorts of things that no one ever considers. Like, they'll never know anything about it unless we ran a building company, you know. Everyone,
Yeah.
When something goes wrong and they search and then they see a podcast like this and go, oh shit, I wish we'd seen this earlier.
yeah, exactly. There's so much. There's so many variables. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It is important to use reputable suppliers as well, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
you've got no comeback if something fails and you end up having to wear the
Mm.
expense of repairing it if you're
Yeah, we need good
Yeah.
reps who will represent us and help us to get to the bottom of warranty issues.
But is
Yeah,
it that thing of save a few bucks now and how much does it cost you down the line?
exactly. Because if it's, talking about installing, it's not as simple as just, oh, we'll just buy a new tap. It's getting the plumber out there, and it's so many different variables behind the scenes of replacing items that could be well built into walls. And if they're suddenly just broken, like internal toilets and systems and stuff like that, yeah, very messy, very expensive, very quick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, that's brilliant.
Mm.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. No, well, thank you very much, guys. It's been a great little chat about the fun parts and finishing off projects in a really positive way, so that what we constantly talk about ourselves is that experience. So thank you very much, guys. It's been amazing having that chat, and we will jump onto another podcast soon and see what else we can help people with out there in the world.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to Builders Beyond Borders. If today's episode helped you feel more prepared, clearer, or more confident, share it with a mate who's planning their own build or reno. Got a question about building, renovating, or working with tradies? Send it our way. We might cover it in a future episode. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss the real stories, practical tips, and builder insights we've got coming your way. Everything shared on this podcast is based on our experiences and those of our guests. It's general info only. Any reliance on the information provided is done at your own risk.